Today, we're gonna shoot out a bunch of different Joyo BanTamps. What's up everybody, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Taylor, and I do all sorts of guitar related stuff like this. On my channel. If that's something you enjoy, make sure to subscribe and click the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the uploads.
I want all the uploads.
You guys requested it, and most of you probably knew it was coming anyways, but today we're gonna be shooting out all of the BanTamps that you've seen on my channel. So that's gonna include the Joyo Firebrand, the Joyo Vivo, the Jackman 2, and the Zombie 2. They're like little weights I'm like getting a workout on. Getting all swole for those metal tones. This is actually making me kind of tired, I'm gonna stop. Now, I've reviewed all of these BanTamps individually, and if you would like to watch those videos, I will leave them in the description below and maybe put a card up here or something like that. And while I really enjoy all of these BanTamps, my opinion has changed a little bit on them since I originally filmed that first video. So I just happened to watch one of my older reviews and I said something to the effect of like, this could replace a full-size tube amp, and no, it definitely doesn't replace a full-size tube amp, and I just wanted to clarify what I meant by that. I think what I meant by that at the time is that it's loud enough to keep up, like if you wanted to use one for practice with a band or something like that. And although they can power 4x12 cabinets, and they can get decently loud with 4x12 cabinets as well, they just definitely don't have the same low end that something more powerful like a tube amp would have. They are much more suited for a 1x12 or a 2x12 at lower volumes. It doesn't mean that they can't be used in the scenario where you need it at a band practice or something like that. It's just not the ideal situation for it. And another thing that I noticed when I was filming this video and I had them all back to back was they're kind of inconsistent in how loud they are, and that might be something with the quality control in the manufacturing process. I really don't know. I just know that some of them were louder than others when I was making this video. So as much as I have sang their praises in previous videos, and I do still think they're pretty cool for what they are, I just want to let you guys know that they do have limitations and they do have some drawbacks to them. Okay, let me show you each one of these and tell you what amps it is emulating. So in this review, we're going to be looking at the Firebrand, which is based off a Ingle Fireball. We're going to be looking at the Vivo, which is based off a PV5150. We'll be looking at the Jackman 2, which is based off a JCM 800. And lastly, we'll be looking at the Zombie 2, which is based off a Mesa Boogie, probably a dual rectifier. I've heard people say Mark series, but I think it's more based off a dual rectifier. At least it sounds more like a dual rectifier to me. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna plug into each one of these, and I wanna cover something that I got a lot of comments about, and that was using an EQ in the effects loop. A lot of you guys reached out to me and told me that they're much more versatile if you use an EQ in the effects loop, so we're gonna try that out on all of them. And then at the end of the video, we'll shoot them all out in a mix, and I will solo them with no post-processing, so you can really just hear them underneath the microscope and see what they sound like and see what the differences are in between all of them. But before we do any of that, if you like my videos and you want to help me keep making them, there is a whole section below with all sorts of cool supportive things like links to my merchandise. You know, if you want like a cool pandemic mask with my logo on it. There's links to my Patreon, and patrons get cool stuff like access to a special section of my Discord server, which I'm in all the time, and I send like early cuts of videos to bounce ideas off them and stuff like that. And if you could go down in the description and check that stuff out, it would really mean a lot to me. All right, let's plug these things in. All right guys, I'm plugged into one of the BanTamps. We have the Zombie 2 up first, and I have preemptively hooked up the equalizer into the effects loop, as suggested by many of you in the comments for that video. So we'll see how much of an impact that has. We have the tone set flat at noon, and here's what it sounds like. Sounds pretty awesome, pretty similar to how I remember it sounding. Let's engage the equalizer pedal and see how much we can change the sound with that guy there. Oh, it's on. Very hard to tell from just looking at it, but that actually is on. I've had that thing for so long, I think the light is just burnt out on it. Yeah, that definitely makes a big difference. Alright, so there you go, you guys were right. If you want more tonal variety with these small BanTamps that only have the one little tone knob thing there and that's not cutting it for you, put an equalizer pedal in the effects loop. It works really well. It actually works a little bit too well. You gotta be pretty careful with it. Alright, I'm getting a little carried away there, but you get the idea. It's almost like an HM2 at that point. Okay, let's swap this over for the Vivo and listen to that one. Alright, now I'm plugged into the Vivo here, and I have everything at noon again. By the way, the reason that I'm doing this with the tone settings at noon on the amps is because I don't want to add or take away anything. I only want to use the equalizer pedal to adjust the EQ for the amp. Let's listen to the amp by itself. All right, a little stale if I'm being honest, but let's engage the EQ pedal. Needs a little bit more gain too. All right, sounds a little bit chunkier. Now, one of the things that I had a hard time with this BanTamp in particular was I actually liked it to turn up the tone a little bit to get a little bit more bite, but it dropped a lot of the low end when I did that. So let's see if we could turn that up and maybe compensate with the EQ pedal. of you guys who suggested in the comments section that I use an EQ in the effects loop, you're right on the money. This definitely helps out quite a bit. Okay, let's do the Fireball next, or the Firebrand. You know what I mean. Okay, now I'm plugged into the Firebrand, and on my initial review of this amp, I wasn't too stoked on the tone with it. I thought it sounded a little bit thin. I really like the distortion character of this amp and how tight it is, but it just didn't have a lot of low end, so let's see if we can fix that. It's what the amp sounds like on its own. Yeah, this amp is considerably quieter than the others as well. Yeah, I don't know. Personally, this is my least favorite out of the bunch, but your mileage may vary. All right, let's move on to the Jackman, which is the final BanTamp amp in this shootout. And the last amp on the list here is the Jackman, which is a clone of a JCM800. Which is not a very high gain amp on its own. Probably need to boost this for the demo portion, but yeah, we'll just ride that gain all the way up there. Let's hear what this amp sounds like on its own. Okay, so it's a little bit dark and a little bit boomy. Let's use the EQ and see if we could dial that in a little bit. I like this one a lot. I think it has a lot of the characteristics of the amp that it is emulating, and it just sounds kind of cool. Of course, we can roll that gain back. Okay, now we're gonna shoot all of these out in a mix, and I'm just gonna try and dial these in the best I can. In this shootout, I don't think that I'm gonna use an EQ in the effects loop. I think that I might boost the amps, particularly this one, because it kind of needs it, and I will be using the same IR on all of them to emulate a cabinet, so that way we can take that out of the equation. Okay, let's do that. Alright, what do you guys think about the Joyo BanTamps? Did you have a favorite? Let me know down in the comments. Special thanks to all of my awesome patrons. You guys are the best, and I really appreciate your contribution and helping me to keep making these videos. And if you like my videos, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.